Okay, so this video is just intended to give a few tips, a few ideas. You know, it always amazes me that people run to the store and empty the shelves in a panic whenever a little snowstorm happens or some other little emergency might happen. This video is kind of to give a few tips and ideas on how to prepare so that you don't have to go through those motions. You can instead prepare on the home front and make sure your gas tank's full and the home's secure and things are running well at home instead of running out. So, a few tips, check it out. So this is my active pantry, which I am about to redo and make better. It's only 2 foot deep, 17 inches across, and under 6 foot tall with some overhead space that I use to put containers and my dehydrator. Tip number 1, the active pantry does not have to be large. That little space contained all of this stuff with the exception of a little area that stored my condiments and salad dressings and things like that. All of this stuff was in that little space that I call my active pantry. Now the active pantry spills over into other areas like cabinets where you have room and even a large bowl that would be on the table or somewhere like on the counter. Tip number 2 is what goes out goes on the list. In other words, anyone who takes something out of the pantry and uses it is required to put it on the list, the shopping list or pantry list. That way there's always a supply of the items that you use. Tip number 3 is use it or lose it. That is, only carry items that you're going to use on a regular basis that you enjoy and are beneficial to you. Cranberry sauce is not one of them. Neither is sauerkraut. Mostly sugar, mostly salt, very little nutritional value, and not items that are used on a regular basis, at least not in my home. By the time I go to grab one of these cans, they're outdated. The same with some health items. Healthy for you, better than some items, but doesn't satisfy my taste buds. It's put on a shelf, forgotten about, and by the time I go to get it, it's outdated. Along with use it or lose it, if it's something that's used, get more than one. Now you can see I actively use these. It's a smart choice, it keeps a long time, and it's very nutritional and satisfying. Number 4, have your preferred foods in a variety of forms. Here's an example with fruit: fresh, jarred, canned, and dried. When choosing variety of forms of your preferred foods, as in this case, I eat a lot of oats. I get rolled oats, steel cut oats, and consider also buying in bulk and also having single serve, as well as the ability to change its form. Here's bread that I made from oat flour. Have you heard the expression bread and milk? Well, for your cereal, try different products. These will store 6 to 9 months on the shelf. No refrigeration needed. Hemp milk is very close in taste to real milk, but it's pricey. An alternative is rice milk. This cost me $1.29. I picked up quite a few. Now for bread, you might want to consider making your own. If you have the proper ingredients, you can make some really good bread that's very nutritional and tasty. This is a oat bread that I made with flour, oat, walnuts, raisins, and cranberries. And believe me, it's very good bread. Here's a good example of an item that comes in family size, single serve, and something in between. Nutritional, easy to store, very useful. Number 5 is think nutrition. You would be amazed at how many different ways you can find protein and how many different varieties you can find your preferred protein in. And here we have almond butter, we have peanut butter, we have peanuts, but there's also alternatives like beans and tofu, dry beans as well as canned beans. We have meat sticks and jerky. We have canned meats. There's so many different varieties of ways that you can get your nutrition in a form that stores well. Number 6, always look for the use by or best if used by date on cans and packages when you purchase and when you use. Here we have a can of cranberry sauce and it says best if used by 2005. Well, it's 2011, so I guess you know where this is going. Here's a package of tofu which needs no refrigeration. It says September 13th, 2011, best if used by. So I know I've got at least 6 months or more. There's a can of beans. Best by February 2013. I've got a couple years of storage in this can of beans. Great item to have. Number 7 is have the power and no power option. So when you think about purchasing food items, if you have a no power situation, you don't want to open a family pack size can if you're not going to be able to eat it in one day by yourself. But if you have a family, it will work for you. So think about a family size for a family, but think about single serving sizes for the single person. That way, if you have no power, you open it and you use it. Also, there are some items that you think might be good for a long time without power, but this one requires refrigeration. This one does not. Also, there are items that you wouldn't think that you could eat cold, but there are a lot of items like beans that are actually very good cold. They're already pre-cooked. If kept at the proper temperature and humidity, fresh foods like apples, garlic, onions, potatoes, and sweet potatoes will keep for an extended time. Now these have been out of the ground and in my kitchen for 5 months. Number 8, consider items that could be used for bug out or camping situations, like ready-made meals that just need water, or energy bars, but also think of dried items that could be used together to make nutritional meals. For instance, something that you can make bread with. Add nuts, dried fruit, coconut flakes for a very high-energy, nutritious meal, along with powdered drinks that have nutrition. So I feel like I'm just barely scratching the surface of where we can go with pantry and storing goods. I suggest get out there and start your pantry today. I know a lot of people don't have money or time or space, but a little bit will go a long way if you are smart about it. I suggest get alternatives for milk and bread and protein. Buy some nutritional soups and be creative. Get out there and do it. Remember, your refrigerator and your freezer are part of the active pantry, but when the power goes out, use that stuff first and then go to your dry and canned and packaged goods. Be safe, be smart. Stay at home when the emergency happens, if you can. If not, grab some stuff and go.